Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down. I'm so excited to finally be talking about this show because I've seen an episode. This is my most anticipated show of 2023, and we get it right at the beginning. But it is a show whose story is near and dear to my heart. This is a show based on a video game. This video game is one of the greatest video games I think ever made, certainly from a story standpoint. And then when you talk about like where we were at that point in time, how you could do stuff in a game to where you get to by the second part, same thing with that story writing. Like, stuff here is so good, and having it come to life with Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey at the forefront, oh, I could not wait. And now it's here. It's already doing its thing for me, man. I was getting like Sandman vibes in the sense of like the adaptation getting me so giddy. What am I talking about? Why don't you pull up a chair, take a seat? We are getting ready to dive in spoiler free into the first episode of season 1 of The Last of Us. And for those that maybe are not familiar, The Last of Us was a video game on PlayStation, so Sony property. HBO picking it up and getting the opportunity to bring it to life. And like I said, it's one of the greatest video games I've ever played, and it is a show that I'm very excited about, and so excited and so connected that I'm going to do some things that you guys are probably familiar with if you've been here before. But if you're new, every Sunday I will be delivering a non-spoiler review by the time it gets up, because it's a 9 o'clock show. Depending on how long I talk during the spoiler discussion, which actually happens first because we do the reaction, by the time I get this up, it could be late Sunday, late Sunday, early Monday morning. But you'll get the non-spoiler review first, and then in the preceding day or two, you will get the reactions of watching and the spoiler review stuff on the backside. So you get 2 videos from me. Yes, I know sometimes I have fallen off specifically on these reactions because they are long edits. But I'm looking at 2023 as, I'm just starting fresh. I'm going to try to keep everything up to date there. And then things I fell behind on in 2022 that I want to get back to, like the Sandman, we'll get to when we can get to them. But if you've followed me around Star Wars or Marvel, you know this is how I roll. And we are definitely doing it this way for The Last of Us because it is one of my favorite things in the world. And based off of this first episode, I'm going to be freaking out the way I freaked out in the Sandman. Like, in my reaction video, I'm contemplating, like, if I'm able to find video snippets from the game to put in when I see moments that are, like, ripped right from the screen. I very much want to do that. Unlike the Sandman, which is verbatim 90+% of the time, one of the things I was most excited about with this is that we were going to get, I think, a lot of additional material. It's one of these weird things that when you look at video game properties, I think they struggle in the film realm when you're doing movies because you spend so much time with these characters in this video game, and like the stories, why there might be an hour and a half of like cinematic content, there's so much more to the story and to the world that allows you to get ingrained in it. And I think a television show is a way better approach, but there are things that you do in a game to learn about a world that you're not going to do in a show. And unlike adapting a comic book, adapting a video game is very different. But when you take it and you have time, which you can have in a TV show, and like the show, it could take multiple seasons to get us to the end of the first game. There's lots of places for them to explore, and the things that make me most excited about this is the fact that the writer of the video game, Neil Druckmann, is one of your main producers. Craig Mazin is your other, who was involved with Chernobyl, which was phenomenal, so you know the quality you're getting there. They bring on the guy who did the score for the game to do the scoring here, and sound design and music is so important to that game. Getting it translated and copied over here verbatim, really, really important, I think, to set the tone and set the world. It's the sound to the game is so specific. The minute you hear it, you're like, I'm in The Last of Us. And you're getting that here. But then you also have actors that are involved. I mean, there are 2 main characters to this world. If you're unfamiliar with The Last of Us, this character, Joel, gets matched up with this 14-year-old girl named Ellie, and he's got to take her across country for reasons. I don't want to spoil anything, obviously, but like it's this kind of cross-country journey that these two got to go on in the middle of a zombie pandemic. The pandemic's been going on for 20 years, So there are, things that you know and things that you don't. But like, you're going on this journey, and there's a lot of obstacles for these characters. But what's great is that someone like Ellie, who's voiced by Ashley Johnson in the game, they found a home for Ashley Johnson as Ellie's mom for the show. We haven't gotten to her in episode 1 yet, but that was something that got me excited. Like, Ashley Johnson's in this show, sign me up. Troy Baker voices Joel, has a character. The guy who voices Tommy has a character. The person who voices Marlene, Merle Dandridge, actually gets to play Marlene in the show. These are things that got me excited. The trailer showed me visuals that are right out of the video game, and I was like, yeah, I'm here. I'm getting excited. And now the first episode is here. I can confirm this is on pace to be one of the greatest video adaptations of all time. And it is Gaiman-esque, I guess you could say, in its adaptation. Like, if you look at the Sandman, how Sandman fans are geeking about that, that's how I'm feeling here, man. The video game references, the moments that are verbatim, I mean, there is dialogue, there are shots that are right out of the video game, and it is perfect. But when you give me the additions to the video game, we get stuff before before the video game starts. They added some stuff in the front. One that's a time hop backwards before you even get to the original present, before you do your time jump to the natural present. But like what they put on the very front of the show, I thought was genius, because it explains a lot of things that apply to this version of zombies. And if you're not familiar, I won't talk about why, but the zombies are different. The way things are transmitted are different in this world, which gives a different look, a different vibe, different characteristics, and things that I'm very excited about. In this episode, you get kind of introduced to your basic zombie, because it does start on, like, when we get to the first present, which is 2003 in the show, that's when the pandemic happens. So you get introduced to like the early stage zombies, which we call runners. And I'm pretty sure second episode we're going to get to be introduced to a different type of zombie, but there are a couple of different kinds. They've got cool looks to them, stuff I'm excited about. But when you talk about like the gaps that they fill in with the characters, the things I was hoping for with this first episode, I wanted to see that pandemic day. I wanted to see Joel get to Ellie, which is pretty much what most of this episode is. But the added things that get built in from a story perspective just give so much more depth and nuance to the characters that like it really enhances things. And I won't say who these characters are, what their relationships are, but like if you're a gamer, the Joel and Sarah stuff, tremendous. And what we get from Nico Parker, even more tremendous. What she has to pull off with Pedro Pascal in the first half hour of this show. There's some special performance stuff going on there from her, but that relationship, loved what they added to that, and it did give new depth to those characters. Just the stuff that's going on with Joel and Ellie, I love the little ads that we've gotten there, and like you can already see things that are happening that kind of give context to these characters. Tess and Joel, we get some stuff before we get to that part of the game. Again, is one of those things where it's like, yeah, just even little quick moments add depth and layers to these characters on top of what we already know. So for everybody that's watching this, there's new and things to take away and build on. Same with Marlene and Ellie. There's some really wonderful stuff that we've heard reference to that we know happened, but we didn't necessarily get to see, that we're getting to see here in this first episode. And that's the thing I was really looking forward to with this show, is like how you tell this story, how accurate you stay to the game, and how the changes enhance what's already going on. And all of that is present here. There's not a ton of zombie stuff, so I don't know if this first episode is necessarily a natural big hook for people. I think it gives you a good sense of the tone, the setting, and everything is going to ride on Ellie and Joel. And you really only start to get into that stuff toward the end of the episode. So I don't necessarily think it's going to be a perfect episode for everybody, but as a gamer, what you're getting visually, sound design-wise, and story-wise, tremendous. And then what you're getting performance-wise, like I said, it was so cool that you got to see Merle Dandridge step into the role of Marlene and brings everything you would expect her to bring from the video game for us video gamers. And for those that don't know, I mean, she's a tough, hard-nosed bitch, as is Tess, played by Anna Torv. And both the original Merle Dandridge, who played the character in the game, and the new actor who's playing Tess here, really, really nailing that stuff. Gabriel Luna, we get a brief time with him as Tommy in that first day. The back and forth between him and Joel, and the little moments that we get, spot on money in the bank. And then when you look at Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, I've said it from jump. These two were perfect casting. I know I've heard some people knock that Bella doesn't look like Ellie. Craig Mazin said it in an interview when they were casting, they were looking for an Ellie-ness. And Bella has that Ellie-ness, and it's on display in full effect multiple times throughout the course of the episode. And the stuff with Pedro, that's where like some of the add-ons really help, because you really get a better sense of Joel pre-pandemic. And when you get to Joel 20 years after it started, he is in that Joel mode, man. And the play between him and Bella already, even though it's been mild, is already showing you everything that can really exist with that relationship and really work with that relationship. Like, you're getting, you might not sense it now, but you're gonna watch the whole season, you go back to the first episode, and you're gonna be like, oh man, they were really highlighting a lot of things that you're gonna be able to do with those characters and how those characters can play off each other. So for me, this is a perfect adaptation, even if it isn't necessarily a perfect episode all around. So let's get the Seat Maniacs up, man. Like I said, perfect adaptation. I think if you're a video gamer, how they adapt from the game to the screen with what you see and what they add, or what you've already had from the game that's here and present, from dialogue to sequences to moments to the add-ons that give new depth and things to some of the characters. It's all on display here, where like you just sit there and you go, yeah, that's perfect. You couldn't have done a better first episode for me. So in that regard, I would go 5 out of 5, no doubt. But I think this episode is very, very good. It's a phenomenal start, but I think the ceiling for this show is a lot higher than this episode even gets to. And that's just knowing the types of things that are coming. I think episode 2 is going to be like potentially something that like really gives you the full vibe, because I think we're going to run into some creepy zombies that we don't really get here. And that's one of the things that's, you get the chaos during the pandemic, and you get to see some zombie stuff. But I think that there's some more exciting type of zombie stuff that could be coming. So from an episode standpoint, I'm going to go 4.5 out of 5, because I still think it's a damn near perfect introduction to this world for people who are uninitiated. But I think there are things that might be scarier or more exciting that are going to happen throughout the course of the season, where like you could see an improvement. So if there's an up or a down, we should probably place it in a place where it could go up. So 4.5 is where I'm going for this episode. It's so damn good. I hope you're all enjoying it. But now I really want to know, what are you guys thinking? If you are a video gamer, how much did you love this first episode? Did it meet your expectations? Are the performances where you want them to be? When you get to the inside of the episode, on the episodes, and you're hearing the creators talk, do you love what you're hearing, from, newbie Craig Mazin? And do you love how like you can just see Neil Druckmann meshing with this guy? Are you guys getting that vibe? And if you are uninitiated to the game, you're not a gamer, and this is your first experience with the story, how much does this episode hook you? How interested are you in this world? If you're a fan of zombies, do you like that there's a different kind of take to the zombies here? And do you like the way that it's presented? What's popping on the performance side? Maybe the show didn't completely click, but man, Bella Ramsey's impressing you, or Pedro Pascal's impressing you. Anything you guys got, man, whether you're gamers or not, good, bad, indifferent, on The Last of Us, episode 1 from season 1. I want those comments down below in the comment section. I look forward to talking to you guys down there. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out with the C-Man as we approach every episode that there is in The Last of Us. Like I said at the top, we're going to be here. Non-spoilers on Sunday nights, right after the show. Reactions and spoiler review early on in the week. You want to be here for all that coverage. You just like my vibe. If you watch this and you were like, oh man, this kid sounds like he's got some knowledge about this game and this story, which I do, and you just like how I'm presenting it, and you want to show a little love, support, or just be here for just this stuff, hey man, come join C-Maniac Nation. Super easy. Place where you can do all those things. All you gotta do is jump over there, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell if you want those alerts, and until next time, for the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down, I've been the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace.
Oh, you guys are still here. You snuck up on me. You must be looking for more of this guy. Well, I got 2 video options for you, man. Right up here and right over here. And if you want all those C-Man goodies, well, hey, come join the squad right on over there, and I'll catch you on the next one.